thing. Like if we have, yeah, so now we have.
So that's going from you.
Right.
From this.
Do you want to test it? So now, do you get my voice?
Mike. Yeah, we
Hold on, you got to give it like 30 seconds.
I'll go to it.
I think that's. I think that's it. So.
It's always a good day when it's Cronkite Sports Live Day. Happy Friday. I'm Jacob Rudner alongside the one and only Matt Venezia. And Matt, we have a phenomenal show planned today for everybody at home who's watching.
Jacob, we're excited to be here as always on Fridays. My basketball tie alludes to a set of new teams that we have on Cronkite Sports Live here today.
Well, no secret there. Going to be talking about basketball in this show, but we're going to kick things off on the gridiron with Arizona State's football team. The Sun Devils are coming off their second straight loss, this time a 34-21 home defeat against Washington State, putting the team in a precarious situation as it pertains to the Pac-12 South title. Let's take a look at some highlights from that one. Sun Devils, the heavy favorite, 86.7% chance of victory according to ESPN's FPI, and things don't start so hot. Second play of the game, Diamante Traynham, the running back, fumbles the ball, turning it over. Third play of the game for the Sun Devils, Brian Thompson, the wide receiver, he fumbles it too. Washington State ball, that's 3 plays, 2 turnovers if you're counting. Cougars, third and goal early in the first quarter. They'll get on the board first. It's 7-0. Here's Sun Devil ball again. Jayden Daniels rolls out to his right, tries to fit the ball through double coverage. Johnny Wilson, his intended target, instead a pick. Now, Jaden DeLaura, Washington State quarterback, finds Travell Harris over the shoulder in the back of the end zone behind Jack Jones. Here's Daniels again in the pocket, under pressure, escapes to his left, down the sideline. You'd think it's a touchdown, but you see it there on the bottom of the screen. Flag, holding, it takes away a 55-yard scamper from Daniels. Back to the ASU offense. Screen pass on 3rd and 17 to Daniel Nagata. 4 yards away from the first down. Instead, he falls and fumbles. Washington State ball once more. Here's DeLaura. He finds his receiver over the middle of the field. Quickly, it's 28-0 Washington State. Here come the Sun Devils, though. Jayden Daniels finds LV Bunkley Shelton in the end zone. First touchdown. Here's the second half. Daniels rolling left, sidearm throw, intercepted, 5th total turnover in the game, most in a game by ASU since 2010. There's a touchdown, Sun Devils 34-14, and they'll get one more, 34-21, Trenton Bourget on that touchdown pass to Andre Johnson. Sun Devils now 5-3 overall.
You just saw in the highlight reel, it's clear that the Sun Devil football team is in a funk. The Washington State Cougars came to Tempe last week, and ASU showed up with one of its poorest performances in the Herm Edwards era. The Sun Devil football team turned the ball over on their first 3 possessions of the game and trailed at the half 28-7. Ultimately, ASU would fall 34-21. But what has sparked after this game on social media has raised some eyebrows all throughout the fan base and organization. Despite this, the players have come to the defense of the team and head coach Herm Edwards. Here's Jordan Clark going to Twitter talking about his loyalty to Edwards and the team. And also here, the lineman Stanley Lambert saying, "We don't question our loyalty with coach after performances like this." So despite what social media and the world have to say about the Sun Devils, its efforts so far, it seems that the players in the maroon and gold have each other's backs and will always remain competitive on the gridiron. Set to host the USC Trojans on Parents Weekend here in Tempe. Sun Devil Stadium will be hoping to see the Sun Devils halt a 2-game skid with hopes to get back on track against a surprising subpar Trojan team. Our very own Nick Elsner explains everything there is to know coming into this Pac-12 conference battle.
Entering Week 9 of the college football season, Arizona State has a date with conference opponent USC on Saturday, November 6th in Tempe. Both teams are coming into the contest banged up, but the Trojans were hit hard with an injury to star wideout and projected first-round draft pick Drake London on a touchdown catch in last week's win versus Arizona. Without their star receiver, it'll be interesting to see how dominant USC's aerial attack is. London had 88 receptions for 1,084 yards and 7 touchdowns this season. The next closest wideout for the Trojans, Taj Washington. He has 32 catches this year for 396 yards and a touchdown. Gary Bryant Jr. is the third receiver in the stat book with 24 catches for 298 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Trojans will need someone to step up at the receiving position on Saturday. Another key in this game is the Trojans' quarterback. Who will get the start in Week 9? Kedon Slovis or Jackson Dart? Slovis, a 3-year starter, was the guy to start the season, but got replaced by Jackson Dart a few weeks ago. Then, Dart injured his knee, and Slovis again got the start. Last week against Arizona, Slovis and Dart both got some playing time, and they each tossed 2 touchdowns, while Slovis added a pick 6. The quarterbacking situation is currently up in the air as the Trojans prepare to come to Tempe. There is some good news, though, for the Trojans. The mainstay in USC's offense has been running back Keontae Ingram. The back leads the team in carries, yards, and touchdowns this season, and has been locked in the last 2 weeks. At Notre Dame and against Arizona, Ingram averaged 171 yards a game with a touchdown in each contest. Arizona State needs to contain Ingram if they want to win this football game. The Sun Devils' defense started off the season as one of the top rush defenses in the country, but through the last 6 quarters of football, it has been poor, allowing opponents 187 yards per game. Another thing the Sun Devils need to focus on is ball security. In its last 2 games, ASU has 6 offensive turnovers, and it recorded 19 penalties for 150 yards. Arizona State needs to be more disciplined and protect the football on Saturday if they want to come away with the win against USC. One positive for the Sun Devils, however, is the receivers have gotten involved in the offense. Jayden Daniels has plenty of guys to throw to downfield, be it Ricky Pearsall, Curtis Hodges, or LV Bunkley Shelton. Regardless of the noise surrounding these 2 programs, someone will need to step up on Saturday as both teams look to add another game to the win column in an important Pac-12 matchup.
Well, Matt made it clear with his tie at the outset of the show. It's time to get to some basketball. Arizona State's men's basketball team gets its season underway on Tuesday against Portland. Sun Devils brought in 9 new scholarship players over the offseason to realign with what Bobby Hurley was hoping to see in his roster, telling media he wanted players he could, quote, go to war with. Here's Hurley and Bradford transfer guard Marion Jackson talking about this year's team.
I think rebounding overall, just because I'm scarred from last year on that one category, has been, certainly a point of emphasis. So we tried to simulate the conditions of the horn sounding if someone misses a block out or doesn't go rebound, misses an assignment. So trying to say, hey, if you're not willing to do this, then you're going to hear the horn sounding if not a game. So we're trying to rehearse that in practice.
It was a couple of factors, but one of them being Hurley. He reached out to me himself, from his personal cell phone. He didn't have no assistant or anybody else call me. He called me himself, And he said that he called me late because he didn't think that, he called in time to get me because of the schools that were calling for me. But he just kept it 100. That's really it. He kept it 100 from the jump. And, he seemed real genuine when he was talking about. And, when I got here, nothing's changed. What he said is what he meant. I respect that.
Well, I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. A bunch of newcomers on this team for the Sun Devils. Let's take a look where they seed to start the season in the Pac-12 preseason media poll. Top 4 teams here: UCLA number 1, Oregon 2, USC 3. A tie for 4th with Arizona will get you here 4 through 8. Oregon State, that tied team. Colorado number 6. Sun Devils number 7. Washington State number 8. And now we'll get you a look at that non-con schedule to start the season for the Sun Devils. A couple games before these ones, but these are the most important. At San Diego State, very tough one. And then a trip to the Bahamas where they'll face Baylor and a couple other teams. Travel back home to face Grand Canyon. That's a team with a couple former Sun Devils. And then a trip to the East Coast where they'll face off at Creighton.
Jacob talked about the men's team, but the women are also ready to hit the floor at DFA this year. Coming off a season led by head coach Charlie Turner-Thorne, ASU failed to reach the March Madness tournament and competed in the NIT. Now, with new goals coming into the 2021-22 season, guards Jayden Simmons and Taya Hansen are looking to lead the way in the season opener next week against Northern Colorado. Head coach Charlie Turner-Thorne is entering her 25th year with the Sun Devils. CTT has a loaded resume that competes with some of the very best coaches in all of the Pac-12. ASU's winningest head coach of all time, second in wins in the Pac-12, with 2 Elite Eights and 3 Sweet 16s as well. It's simple. Charlie Turner-Thorne has been the definition of consistent for over now 2.5 decades. With expectations to get back to the tournament and beyond, Kevin Malater shows us the very best of CTT in celebration of her successes.
November 9th marks the start of the 25th season for Sun Devil head coach Charlie Turner-Thorne. The winningest head coach in ASU women's basketball history will join just 10 other active Division I head coaches who've led their current program for at least 25 seasons. The list includes names like Gino Auriemma of UConn, Stanford's Tara Vanderveer, and Kathy Delaney-Smith of Harvard, who is the longest tenured head coach in Division I women's basketball. Despite the successful company she joins, the 2-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year didn't get off to the start she wanted when she first took over in Tempe. After being hired prior to the 1996-97 season, the first 4 teams under CTT struggled, all of them failing to make the NCAA tournament. But since then, it's been uphill for Thorne in the program. Under her leadership, ASU has made 20 postseason appearances in the last 21 years, which includes 14 trips to the NCAA tournament. And since the 1999-2000 season, the Sun Devils have only missed the big dance in back-to-back seasons twice, most recently 2011-12 and 2012-13. After coming off a season where a team did not make the NCAA tournament for the first time in 6 seasons, and with the team being picked to finish 8th in the Pac-12 preseason poll, Thorne says her team still has high expectations for this season.
May have felt a little disrespected, at media day. Maybe not. I don't know. But whatever, whatever gets you that much more motivated. I don't really think we need that. I think we just have a group that loves the game, real committed to each other. And to, being back to where our programs used to be, which is a championship caliber team.
We'll see how these high expectations play out as the team plays their season opener against Northern Colorado on November 9th, which will see the return of fans in an Arizona State women's basketball home game for the first time since March 1st, 2020.
Some of the reason for Charlie Turner-Thorne's success as of late is due to the backcourt guards the Sun Devils currently have the luxury of utilizing. Sophomore Jayden Simmons and senior Taya Hansen highlight the starting 5 for ASU. Jack Pearson is here with us in studio to take a deeper look at these 2 Sun Devil guards.
Thank you, Matt. The explosive backcourt of Taya Hansen and Jayden Simmons is back and looks to navigate the Sun Devils through a rigorous schedule in the Pac-12. Hansen is returning for her final year at ASU and has lots to prove. She is the main offensive option, averaging 12.6 points per game last season and is setting 3-point scoring records in doing so, including the single-game school record with 7 3-pointers. Hansen is going to need some help, however, and it starts with the exciting young talent in Jayden Simmons, who enters her sophomore season with high expectations. Last year as a freshman, Simmons was the first player at Arizona State to average double figures since 2003 when Jill No did it. Simmons simply manages to find ways to score the basketball. She is great at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. Last season, she was there 121 times and shot just under 80% from the strike. However, Simmons has to improve her shooting if the Sun Devils are to be a top team in the Pac-12. Last year, she shot just 17.7% behind the arc. The upcoming season begins Tuesday, November 9th. Make sure to watch out for this backcourt duo that might just take the Pac-12 by surprise.
ASU's volleyball team got off to an uninspiring start to its season, dropping 10 of its first 18 matches. But the group has been able to turn its slow start on its head with wins in each of its last 5 matches, including victories over then number 14 UCLA, number 18 Utah, and number 15 Stanford. They'll look to continue their hot streak with matches against Washington and Washington State. And to help us preview that, here's Kellen Croxton.
This weekend, the Sun Devils will have a chance to take on Washington and Washington State again. In the team's matchup against the Washington schools earlier this year, they dropped in 5 to the number 11 Huskies, and they got swept by the unranked Cougars. Now Washington is ranked 12th in the country, and Washington State is at 21. In their previous matchup against the Huskies, Arizona State played well individually, but didn't play together as a team. The Sun Devils had 3 double-digit kill players, being Iman Isanovich with 22 kills, Marta Levinska with 16, and Jelly Sear with 12. While the team had great individual performances and even had the Huskies at match point, ASU had only 3 blocks to Washington's 12 and 5 service aces to the Huskies' 10. These 2 main discrepancies made the match drastically harder for Arizona State, resulting in a close loss. While the team lost in 2 significant ways against Washington State, the match was more straightforward. The Sun Devils continued to get outblocked 7-3 and got out-aced 9-2. But this time, the individual performances weren't there. Roberta Abello led the team with 10 kills, Isanovich followed with 8, and then it dropped to Jeter with 3. Low kills led to bad performances, and without the individual performances, we saw a 3-0 sweep by the Cougars. Both matches showed that a team that struggled with service aces and blocks, and those are the 2 main aspects that Arizona State needs to excel in this weekend. Luckily, the team has gotten better, at least with service aces. In their home hosting of Cal and Stanford, Arizona State out-aced both teams. But in the match where the Sun Devils swept 0-10 Cal, the team still got outblocked. All in all, Arizona State is in a much better position as they go into the remaining rematch against the Washington schools, but service aces and blocks threaten to end the team's hot streak. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you so much, Kellen, for telling us what to expect with volleyball this weekend. Now we're going to go to soccer. In last week's 4-1 win at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium against the Utah Utes, ASU's Nicole Douglas and Eva Van Dersen both achieved program milestones on the exact same play. Van Dersen picked up her 10th assist on the season on Douglas's goal, passing Manya McCoskey's record of 9 assists in a single season set back in 2002. Douglas, on the other hand, found the back of the net for the 18th time this year as she passed ASU Hall of Famer Stacy Tulloch for most goals in a single season. The help of Douglas and Van Dersen, ASU is looking to build on the team's 2-match win streak with the University of Arizona up next, a team that head coach Graham Winkworth is yet to beat during his tenure at Arizona State. He has beaten every single team in the Pac-12 but the team from down south, and that remains untouched by Winkworth and the Sun Devils. Cronkite sports reporter Ryan Sikora explains what needs to happen for Winkworth to finally show no pity for the kitty.
Graham Winkworth has been in Tempe for the better part of half a decade. During that time, his Arizona State Sun Devils have beaten 10 of the other 11 Pac-12 teams. They have yet to beat the Arizona Wildcats, though. Winkworth is 0-6 against the team from down south, but this year's squad is looking to break the streak despite underperforming this fall. On Friday, the Sun Devils will face a Wildcats team that has had a frustrating season themselves. U of A is 4-13 and 1-9 in conference play, with their sole Pac-12 victory coming against Utah in a 1-0 struggle fest. First-year head coach Becca Moros has failed to generate production on offense. The Wildcats have only found the net 13 times this season, and just 4 times in their 10 conference games. Forward Jill Aguilera has knotted 3 of those 4, and 7 overall. The 5th-year senior is the Wildcats' lone focal point, meaning if you stop Aguilera, you stop the Cats. Adding to the misery, U of A has allowed 33 goals this year, the most in the pack. While Arizona is struggling through every facet of the game, ASU has picked it up and rides into Tucson following 2 dominant outings. With their attack finally clicking, the expectation of capturing Winkworth's first win against Arizona is real and could put the Devils back on the right path heading into next season.
Thank you, Ryan, for letting us know what to expect from Winkworth and the Sun Devils. Now we're going to move on to the ice. The Sun Devils have this weekend off before preparing to go on the road to Quinnipiac, the nation's 6th best team. ASU has used the likes of several transfer student athletes to have the team sitting at 6-4 before this crucial matchup on the East Coast. Our Ethan Tuttle is here to highlight the best transfers and their contributions on the ice so far this year for the Sun Devils.
Greg Powers and Arizona State men's hockey utilized the transfer portal to the best of their ability this past offseason. They picked up a handful of transfers, and a few of them are already making an impact. Graduate transfers Jack Becker and Colin Tyson have both had stellar starts to their seasons and continue to put up solid performances. In ASU's last game, Tyson netted his first career hat trick in a Sun Devil uniform and boosted his point total to 13 on the year. Becker trails not too far behind with 8 points off some terrific work in front of the net for ASU. Now taking a step back to the blue line for the Sun Devils, it's been sophomore transfer Tim Lovell, who stood out as a playmaker on both ends of the ice. His ability to stick handle stands out as some of the best on the team, and he brings experience from one of the biggest hockey powerhouses in the country in Boston College. He's racked up 11 points with 8 assists coming from some of his terrific playmaking in the offensive end. The Sun Devils have caught a 3-game win streak, and the red-hot play from these transfers is certainly a contributing factor to the team's success so far.
Time for my favorite time of the show, Matt. It's top plays. We'll start with volleyball. Arizona State, some big-time action here against Stanford. Look at the save, the set, the spike, but my favorite part, right off the face of the Stanford player. Way to use your noggin, Cardinal.
That was pretty cool. Here's an even better one. We're going to hockey, St. Thomas and ASU. Transfer student and defenseman Tim Lovell wraps around the goal, steps in from the point, and scores one of 4 ASU third period goals.
On to number 2. Guess where we're going? Back to volleyball. Again, ASU, Stanford. Look at this save here to get the ball back into play. Arizona State's going to keep this rally alive for quite a while, as is Stanford. Smack, block, set, spike. Here we go. Stanford not going down without a fight, though. They will return the ball to the Sun Devils. Amazing save there. And the Sun Devils will put it away. They went on to win this one. Again, that's 5 straight wins for ASU.
Number 1, we talked about it earlier with soccer. This is the goal that Nicole Douglas scored her 18th of the season, and she would pass Stacy Tulloch for the most goals in a single season all time for ASU.
A whole lot of action on today's show, Cronkite Sports Live. Again, he's Matt Venezia, I'm Jacob Rudner, and for the two of us, everybody in the studio, we appreciate your time today. Look forward to seeing you next Friday. Have a great week.